Hello, good afternoon. My name is Yeo Seok Joo, and today we like to present you with play therapy, and I'm in charge of introductions. And this is my personal details, and this is my team member. Play, as you know, is the child's language, and when children play, it actually rewire the prefrontal cortex of their brain executive control center, which enable them to regulate emotions, making plans, and problem solving, and it actually help the social brain to interact with others in a more positive way. And by play therapies is actually allow the trained therapists to help the child express their emotions, feelings, thought, behavior, and work through the emotional difficulty in a child's natural language. And in play therapy, it is evident that it is more efficient use in the trauma, abuse, anxiety, and attention difficulty disorder like ADHD or the autism. And it can use a several method to use this method to treat the child, like for example using animated animals and painting or art and puppets, imaginative pretend play, and the games or technology and imaginary journey, and so on. And using this play, normally they will use two methods, or what we call two approach. One is called the non-directive approach. The other one is called the directive approach. In non-directive play approach, the child will lead the play, and the therapist allow them to freely play with the material, and the child is allowed to choose the content, the process. And on the other hand, the directive play therapy is also called the therapist play therapy, which means that the therapist using a structured way of organizing the play so that the child will have a meaningful and purposeful way of playing to lead them to come out from their specific events or dramas. And for that, the play therapist can use both methods, and there are few weaknesses when using the play therapy. For example, it's not going to work for everyone and every problem, and the mother or the parents will misinterpret that I'm paying to play with the child. And the advantage, or what we call the strength of this using play therapy, is that it enables those who are inefficient or unable to communicate well children to express their feelings and thoughts. Thank you.
Hi. Hello everyone. I'm K.S.Nithiya, daughter of Krishnan, from Malacca Learning Center. Currently, I'm working as a teacher in Temerloh School. I did an observation with my 6-year-old student in my class. The issue is, she come to school in dull and sleepy. During the lesson, she is very quiet and able to notice that she is lack of concentration. First, I have studied about her family. Her parents both are educated, and because of the father works in overseas, her mother quit her job as a nurse and take in charge of their children. Her parents are aware with the situation. For pre-observation, around 8 o'clock in the morning, she entered the class with a very small steps and very slow. She is very quiet and looks dull. When I asked her, "Are you okay? How are you? Are there any problem?" she just shook her head and said no. During the English lesson, I asked her to read the words in the printed materials. Once her turn is over, she didn't concentrate at all and keep on yawning for a few times. But during the action song and also the play, she seems like very active and look fresh. So I plan to conduct a pretend play using dolls. First, I let her to explore the dolls. Then, we begin the imaginative pretend play where the bigger doll is the mother and the smaller doll is her. From the play, I got to know that she used to play with her siblings while her mother busy with cleaning and cooking. Before sleep, she used to spend time watching serials with the family and also play with her mom's smartphone. If her father is around, they used to have family time where the singing and dancing activities will be held. And sometimes the mother fall asleep before the children sleep. The pretend play takes about half an hour. During the pretend play, she also realized that what she did is not correct. After the pretend play, I gave her task to prepare a home schedule to let her learn to organize her time. After a few days, when I questioned her about her routine, she told me that no more playing smartphone in the night as often as before. That was agreed by the mom too. I reward her with the same dolls that we have played during the imaginative play, and she seems very happy and feel free to suggest to have action songs often in the class. Even though it's not a big issue for a 6-year-old girl, but I'm glad to know that she have changed her routine since we have played together.
Hi, I'm Yeo Seok Joo from Malacca Learning Center. I'm third presenter for our group presentation. For my practical pre-therapy section, I have selected a 5-year-old girl who is attending preschool. The reason I selected this child is because of her hygiene and behavior problem. Since the age of 4, she always comes to school with her uniform were mismatched, dirty and unironed. Her hair often messy and untied. Sometimes her clothes and hair are smelly too. But this child has one personality. She likes to greet her friends and teachers. However, in class, she has trouble sitting still and is always interrupting other children. She's short-tempered and will hit and punch when angry. At times, she will clench her fists to initiate fight when she gets annoyed with her friends who accidentally touch her things or unfriend her. She's come from a broken family. The child's parents were separated. She's living with her partner, grandfather, grandmother, a fifth uncle, and a youngest uncle. Her grandmother worked as a confinement lady and she opens away for a couple of months. Grandfather worked as a contract labor, thus the child is mostly cared by her fifth uncle from cooking her meal, bathing, and getting ready for school. For the first section of pre-therapy, I use a puppet as a medium to communicate with the child. This set of finger puppets represent each family member. I randomly place all the puppets on the table and ask her to identify them to each of her family members. As you can see, her parents were not arranged next to her, a sign indicating she was left to care for by her grandparents. A second arrangement also saw her being placed away from her parents and both parents were separated just and in reality. She talked about her grandmother telling her not to be naughty and she would get beaten by her grandmother and fifth uncle if she ran around and be naughty. Her grandfather wouldn't scold her as much. She also told me that her mother only looked after her younger sister but not her. When I played the role of the mother, she said, "I love you" to the puppet that represent her, her mother, but said her mother didn't talk to her and always scold her for running around. The child will also interchange the father figure puppet which fit uncle puppet whom she liked to call puppy. From the observation she arranged the position of the puppet, we can find out in her subconscious she understood that her parents will not be with her again. The child talked about going shopping with her family. However, she said they need to jump over a ditch in front of her house to go buy things. She started to play jump over the ditch, fetching father which fit uncle, mother which grandmother, but never both parents jump together. She mentioned her parents never talk to each other and never talk to her except to buy things for her to eat. Finally, she said she did not get to see her parents. She seemed to avoid questions pertaining her parents. For the second section of play therapy, I used a doll and bathing toys for imaginating play, pretend play. When the child played bathing the baby, she seemed to know how to conduct a good bathing process. She always starts with brushing the teeth, followed by washing top to toes, and lastly put the baby to sleep. However, she put on clothes for the baby doll without drying up the body after bath. As she said, her fit uncle also does likewise. Perhaps this explains why she always comes to school with untidy clothes. Furthermore, she also says she always running around, which explains why she always comes to school with untidy look. With only 2 sections of play therapy practice, there has not been any change on her yet. We need further play therapy section with the child, and this will take time to solve the child's hygiene and behavior problem. More proper techniques of play therapy and therapy sections to be applied. Only there will be more chance to help the child to solve her problems.
Hi, my name is Laili Azura binti Chik. My part is to talk about the conclusion. Play therapy is to children and counseling is to adults. Play therapy utilizes play, children's natural medium of expression, to help them express their feelings more easily through toys instead of words. Association for Play Therapy defines play therapy as the systematic use of theoretical model to establish an interpersonal process wherein trained play therapists use the therapeutic powers of play to help clients prevent or resolve psychosocial difficulties and achieve optimal growth and development. The main reason why play therapy is recommended is because of the communication gap that exists between children and adults. According to Landreth, 1999, the language development of children is behind their cognitive development, so they communicate through play. Most children who are under the age of 9 or 10 have not yet developed the abstract reasoning skills and verbal abilities to sit in a counselor's office and articulate their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Play allows children to have a sense of control over their world that they are not allowed in reality. Play helps very emotional experiences to be experienced more safely. Children can transfer strong negative emotions to objects rather than people. In this assignment, we have tried to observe 2 children with different attitudes. We are using puppet and imaginative pretend play as a play therapy technique. Puppet is any object and also can be any part of the body. In order to become that, some certain requirements need to be made, such as enriched by a sign, movement, and speech. Verbal speech is not indispensable. Through puppet, the child becomes directly involved in creating and speaking the dialogue of the story and in manipulating the puppets to act out the story. By doing this, the child becomes involved in and personally connected with the story. This enables them to more easily make the link between their own emotional feelings and those of characters in the story. Imaginative pretend play is the naturally occurring play of young children. They are enjoying pretending to be someone else, such as a doctor examining a patient or a mother feeding her children. In their play, they dress up and make use of props. For example, empty food packets when they are pretending to be shopping. Thus, they combine the use of objects, actions, words and interaction with imagined people to produce a drama. After the post-observation, the play therapist need to carry out more play therapy sessions with appropriate technique so that they will be challenged to solve the child's problems. That's all. Thank you.